are solely those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of ABC 1530 WVOB.
The law offices of Ron Scholes presents Miller on Sports, the only sports show that keeps you glued to your seat. Everything else is just talk. Now, here's your host, Richard Miller.
Another wonderful day to be alive in the city of Jacksonville, Florida. Almost no clouds in the sky, or at least the way I perceive it. Blue skies, beautiful. Hope to hit up the beach this weekend. Just a wonderful, wonderful day right here on Miller on Sports. As you know, we're always brought to you by the law offices of Ron Scholes, a law firm of military veterans fighting for you. Go to ronschollspa.com for more information, or for a free consultation, call 904-721-7575. That number again is 721-7575. And beginning Monday, and every week, Monday and Tuesday, I'll be down at City Hall Pub doing live broadcasts from 1 until 2 p.m. Weekdays, Miller on Sports, 1 until 2 p.m. And if you want to catch me on the weekends as well, I host Inside the Game Saturdays from noon until 1 with my good friends NASCAR Andy and Coach Daryl Pasquale every Saturday Inside the Game. And to start the show off, if you cut the last night's game, Saints and Vikings, really, I mean, Brett Favre looks old. He looks so old, and looking at him on the sideline, to me, I thought he was thinking, why did I come back? Why did I do this? And we all know he had ankle surgery in May, but Brett Favre just did not look good. Overlook the stats. Look at his body of work. He did not look good. He's 40, turns 41 in October. He is football old. And I'm sure he's thinking this morning, you know, he was not getting hit that often. He wasn't sacked that often, only once. And so overall, Brett Favre looked old. And rightfully so, Adrian Peterson saying, feed me the ball this morning. He should have been fed the ball more. Only 19 carries. Adrian Peterson needed more carries than 19. And although he had 87 yards, there were times when the Saints just looked off balance when Adrian Peterson was running the ball. And you know what it reminded me of when Brett Favre was throwing the football? When you're a kid, when you're 8, 9, or 10 years old and you're playing catch with your father in the front yard, and the ball is too big for your hand, but you feel like you have the strength, you have the heart to throw that football, but you just can't grip it. Your hands aren't big enough, and you're just kind of push throwing it. Well, that's what Brett Favre looked like last night. He did not look good, and I can't expect this Vikings team to get back to where they were last year, the NFC Championship game. No. I just don't think it's possible. The way Brett Favre played last night, and I understand it was one game, but I think one game can tell a lot sometimes. And if Sidney Rice and you have Percy Harvin and they're playing well, Visante Shenko and the defense, the Vikings could get back to the playoffs. But from what I saw last night, a playoff team needs a very good quarterback. Brett Favre, to me, did not look like that very good quarterback last night. And amazingly enough, this is just the power of the NFL. Last night's TV ratings, 17.7. The highest rated opening NFL game ever. And a 28 share. And for those of you that don't know Nielsen, and I'm sure there are maybe 5 of you out there that do, and somehow you can get together on Facebook and maybe go to lunch this weekend. But for the 5 of you that understand Nielsen, it was a 28 share in last night's game. That means 28% of Americans with the TV on last night watched the program. That's incredible. And still to this day, not every household has a TV. You have to understand that. But a 28 share, that is mind-boggling for a game that I perceived going into the third quarter, even after the Saints scored that opening touchdown in the third quarter, I thought was boring as all get out. It was very difficult to watch. And overall, what I perceive from that is that really at this point, the Vikings need to run the ball to set up the pass, which is different because in today's game, you pass to set up the run. It's pass first, and then, okay, maybe we'll toss in a few run plays, maybe a sweep play here. But the Vikings need to run the ball first. For a player that 3 years straight has had 1,300 yards or more and can almost guarantee you 10 touchdowns a season, and I know he has his fumbling issues, but you get the ball to Adrian Peterson. And I don't understand what Brad Childress was doing. If he's so buddy-buddy with Brett Favre, or maybe that quote-unquote feud that was talked about a few months ago between Brett Favre and Brad Childress, maybe he's just trying to iron that out, smooth that out, say, hey, buddy, you know what? I'm going to let you throw 7 times in the final drive, and then we're going to have to punt with 5 minutes remaining and not get the ball back. I don't know what Brad Childress was thinking. When you have a top 2 back, or arguably the best back in Adrian Peterson, Chris Johnson will probably disagree with that statement, but you get AP the ball all day long. His nickname is AD for a reason. It's all day, because he can carry the ball for all day long. And it's really amazing what one offseason can do, because the Vikings look completely different. The Saints still look pretty good, but it was the lowest scoring win in Sean Payton's tenure with the Saints, 14-9. And it was even spread because it was 5 points with the Vikings, excuse me. But one of those games where the Saints didn't look great, but they looked good enough to win. And there were times where they just kind of embarrassed the Vikings. And there was never really a thought in my mind that the Vikings would win this game. Even though Garrett Hartley missed 2 field goals, and with the position of kicker, he's got to be scared. I don't know if he can keep his job much longer if he keeps this up. We saw it with Nick Folk last year with the Dallas Cowboys. But overall, what has happened to Brett Favre? He's fallen apart. And when you think about it, it's almost about time. He's 40 years old. He looked not scared in the pocket because he was still taking some hits, but his body it can't last much longer. And just the power of the NFL. He'll be 41 in October, and a 17.7 rating. I just don't see it. And it's one of those things, too, with ESPN and their Monday Night Football games. They're breaking records every single week because people, what else are they going to watch Monday night? WWE Raw? Raw is War? Is that your only other option? Maybe CSI Miami? I don't know. So, of course, Monday Night Football is going to break last week's record. But do we have to hear about it every single week that set another mark? But to me, it's just mind-boggling that this last night's game between the Saints and the Vikings is the highest rated opening NFL game ever. I just, really, I don't know about that. Miller on Sports, weekdays 1 until 2 p.m. right here on ABC 1530 WBOB. As always, you can follow me on Twitter or Facebook, Miller on Sports, or if you feel like emailing me, milleronsports@gmail.com. As always, we're brought to you by the law offices of Ron Scholes, a law firm of military veterans fighting for you. Go to ronschollspa.com for more information or for free consultation. Call 904-721-7575 or 1-800-384-7575. Coming up, more NFL talk, Jacksonville Jaguars talk, and so much more right here on Miller on Sports. Andy wants to get on air.